What's up, guys? My name is Tony, aka Son of the Bat, and I want to welcome you back to the Hall of Justice.
It's clavering time!
Welcome back, everyone, to the Hall of Justice. As you know, it has been a minute. I did have a son in November, so I've been pretty busy with that recently up until now. So I just want to kind of get straight into it. But before I start, as always, I want to go ahead and let you guys know that we are working with San Diego Comics, one of the oldest comic book shops in San Diego, where you can find all your back issues that are $10 or under for 25% off, as well as any of your new issues and trade paperbacks for 15% off. So starting off today, I want to go ahead and share with you guys a highly anticipated indie that just came out called Oliver. Now, this book is kind of a retelling or reimagining of Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. But in this case, we see him in a post-apocalyptic world, more specifically being born into that world. And what we come to find out is the fact that a military was actually created in a lab, which caused the destruction that followed. Now, so far what we know about Oliver is the fact that he's one of the only naturally born human beings in existence at this point. But we also see that there might be something else very special about this kid, and that goes into the second issue. So that's a highly, like I said, anticipated book that's coming out this week, and I really recommend picking it up. The next book I want to tell you guys about is actually Uncanny X-Men Annual #1. Now, as a lot of you know, we're on issue 10 now of the ongoing series, which just returned, and honestly has kind of started off a little weak, but is getting better as it goes. But what we do see in this first annual for the new volume is the new Cable that we were introduced to in Extermination, and the story behind how he saved his father Cyclops from death. And of course, recently we do find out that Cyclops wants to go ahead and put his team back together. So this annual kind of touches bases on that, exactly how they brought him back, which actually touches on the Jean Grey Phoenix Resurrection miniseries that we got last year as well. It was actually a pretty fun read, and I highly suggest it, so go pick it up. This next book, I really didn't know what to think about it when I first picked up the first issue, and what I'm talking about is issue 2 now of The Superior Spider-Man. And as a lot of you guys know, Otto Octavius is taking on the mantle of the Superior Spider-Man in San Francisco. And what we were left with at the end of issue 1 was the revelation that Terrax was attacking the city. And for those of you who don't know who Terrax is, he was once a herald of Galactus, so he's pretty powerful. Issue 2 really gets into depth in regards to what the Superior Spider-Man has to deal with fighting one of these intergalactic beings. It starts to get really hairy for him in the end, but patience does pay off when Otto Octavius does create a device that siphons the cosmic power out of Terrax and transfers the power into him, introducing us to the cosmic-powered Superior Spider-Man. So just for that alone, I think it's a really big reason to pick up. It's actually a pretty good read too, which I'm kind of surprised, because right now I'm just enjoying Amazing Spider-Man as well as Peter Parker Spectacular, but this is actually a good addition to the Spider universe. Next up, and with a very highly anticipated first appearance, we have Immortal Hulk #12. Now, if you've been ordering your books through previews or pre-ordering them more specifically, you do know, or you did find out, that the one below, or the one branded as the one below, was going to make a first appearance in this book. Well, what we come to find out is the fact that the Hulk, the persona of the Hulk, is actually the one below, and in this case is kind of considered the devil. So to make it super simple, he's pure evil. The Immortal Hulk has been one of the greatest runs right now currently at Marvel, and it's been a non-stop thrill ride. So I highly suggest picking that one up. However, cover B is highly sought after right now. However, it's only a Guardians of the Galaxy variant cover with characters from that series. And speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, we have issue 1 with this new series written by Donny Cates. As you guys know, I'm picking up anything written by the man right now, and this first issue gets right into the action. Now, if you guys read Thanos Legacy, the one-shot that came out earlier this summer, we all came to find out that Thanos was killed. And with being killed, there were a few people already searching for his body, one of them being Star Fox, his brother. At the end of Thanos Legacy, we find out that there was something implanted in his body, which Star Fox called his will. A lot of people were speculating on what that meant, but what we find out here is that it's actually a living testament. In this will that Thanos shares with everyone, and by everyone, I mean a ton of people from the galaxy who have come together to see it on Thanos' old ship, is the fact that Thanos lets everyone know that he has actually transplanted his consciousness into someone else's body. And of course, without telling anyone what body that is, everyone starts going crazy and trying to figure out where they need to start looking first. However, discussions really don't last long, as the Black Order actually come and steal back Thanos' body. In doing so, at the end of the book, we do find out that the person who put the Black Order in charge of stealing the body is none other than Hela. So again, just with this book being written by Donny Cates, who's really hot on the presses right now, I highly suggest it. And one of the other great things about it is the fact that there were a lot of orderable covers that came with it. Next up, and actually one of the books from Marvel's that is celebrating the 80-year anniversary of the publisher, is issue 1 of Crypt of Shadows. Now, as the name might tell you, it is a horror story, and a pretty interesting one at that. In regards to covers, cover B is actually really neat because it does look very vintage. I was surprised to find out that it wasn't actually an anthology of stories, but actually just one story alone. In the story, you're introduced to this man who's actually afraid of dogs. Without getting too into it, you find out exactly why that is. There really wasn't much to this book other than it being a horror thriller story itself. And to be honest, I'm not sure that they're actually going to be releasing an issue 2. I think this is just in celebration of the 80 years of Marvel. So if you love reading scary stories, I highly suggest picking this up. And last but not least, my final pick for this week is going to be Avengers issue number 13, which is a really cool issue because we get introduced to the first ever Iron Fist, who existed over 1 million years ago. We find out that a young teenager by the name of Fan Fi has been outcast from the city of Kunlun for teaching humans how to use martial arts. But before she's outcasted and punished, the humans that she taught must also meet their end in front of the Dragon Lord, Shou Lao. And this is where we find out how the first Iron Fist actually gets their powers, by killing Shou Lao. Doing this lands the final nail in the coffin for her, and she's banished to Earth for 10 years, where she finds herself protecting the humans from other creatures much larger than them. Towards the end of the story, and after the 10 years of exile, we see this first ever Iron Fist get invited back to Kunlun. However, she refuses to enter the gates and decides to stay on Earth and protect it. Issue number 13 of the Avengers does follow in the footsteps of the first origin of the original Ghost Rider. So I highly recommend picking this one up. It probably does have a high print run because it is Avengers, but it is a very good origin story, and I'm pretty sure that she's going to be showing up a lot more in the future of the Avengers. So guys, as you noticed, I am also keeping it a lot shorter with these videos. I'm actually only going to be picking my favorite picks for this week, moving forward with all of my future videos as well. I also want to give you guys a little bit of a teaser. I am working with San Diego Comics on something really big, so stay tuned because I'm going to be talking a lot more about it in the future with some more episodes coming up to let you guys know exactly what it is and how you guys can get your hands on some comic books here in San Diego. And of course, don't miss out on our audio podcast released every Friday. So everyone, I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your books. Until next time.
It's clever and tough.
That could blow up the weapons ready for testing.
Absolutely amazing.